Together, the creators in this video reach millions of tech professionals every week. They're not just successful engineers and tech leaders, they're masters at breaking down complex career concepts into actionable advice. As 2024 comes to a close, I've brought them together to share the moves that will matter the most for you in 2025. You'll find links to their channels in the description. They're worth following for more in-depth insights. Let me kick this off with something that I've learned about getting great advice over my career. Getting life-changing advice comes down to three things. First, seek advice from successful people. Why? Because while anyone can tell you what to avoid, successful people can show you what to move towards. They give you critical direction, not just warnings to stay away. Second, look for people who are good at explaining their journey. Think back to college. The best teachers weren't always the most accomplished researchers. They were the ones who could break down complex ideas and actually wanted to share their knowledge. Third, and this is crucial, ask specific questions. Don't just say, "Do you have any advice?" That's too broad. Instead, ask about particular challenges that you're facing. The person you're asking should be uniquely qualified to answer that specific question. And that's exactly how I approached this video. I asked each creator, what's your best tech career advice that most people ignore but could start doing today? Their answers are specific and actionable, things you can implement right now to change your trajectory in 2025. Remember, a small change in direction today can lead you to a completely different destination tomorrow if you start early enough. Transformational change might just come down to a small nudge that you receive right now.
Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Jeff, and despite how I look, I am not a software engineer, unfortunately for my bank account, but I do work in tech as a product marketing manager. The best career advice I've ever received is the best mentors are those who are just one step ahead of us. For context, when I first joined Google 8 years ago now, wow, our senior director had an open door policy. And me being the proactive go-getter that I was back then, before, reality hit, I signed up for her office hours. I quickly realized those types of meetings rarely led to actionable or relatable advice since they're just too senior, right? They don't remember how it's like to do my job. Instead, the senior account managers were still close enough to remember the responsibilities, the challenges, and so they were able to offer practical advice and were well positioned to pull me up that next rung. Of course, it's never a bad thing to get more face time with leadership, especially if you have valuable insights to share from the front lines. They love that. But to really make a strong impression, I recommend asking them to connect you with junior mentors who are far enough to lend a hand, but close enough to remember the climb.
What's up everyone, my name is Namanh. You can find me on YouTube and Instagram at Namanh Kapur, where I talk about software engineering advice, including all the ups and downs in my own personal life. Now, I want to start off by wishing all of you and your loved ones a happy holidays. It's the perfect time to reflect on everything that went well in 2024 and what you hope to achieve in the coming months. And with that, I also wish all of you a very happy new year. Now, Steve reached out to me and asked, what's your best software engineering career advice that most people ignore but could start doing today? Well, here's my answer. Make as much noise as possible. And no, I'm not talking about being loud just for the sake of it. I'm talking about actively showcasing your work, sharing your wins, and building your personal brand. Write LinkedIn posts about the projects you're working on. Hop on Twitter threads that you find interesting and add your perspective. And honestly, just DM the founders of companies you admire. Remember, closed mouths don't get fed. So push past the fear of feeling awkward or cringe. Because the more you put yourself out there, the higher the chance you end up getting what you want. But this isn't just about visibility. It's also about learning while doing. And this idea pertains especially towards interviewing. Stop worrying about solving X number of leak code problems in isolation and instead just put yourself out there and make some noise. In real world situations, this means just taking interviews, like actual interviews. The more you interview, the better you'll be at managing nerves and taking hints from the interviewer and explaining your thought process. Interviewing is a skill you can only master by doing more interviews. So whether it's sharing your work publicly or diving into real world interviews, remember, growth only comes from action. So let me know if you agree or disagree, and even better, in the literal comments below, write something that you're working on or how me or someone else can help you achieve your dreams. Good luck, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers.
Hey folks, my name is Utsav. I'm a software engineer based in Seattle. I work in the Azure team at Microsoft and also run the YouTube channel Engineering with Utsav. So the one thing I think that most software engineers ignore but should start doing right away is to take ownership of their career growth. Look, in an ideal world, you do your best work and your manager, peers, and your company will do their part to ensure that you keep progressing in your career. But it's not an ideal world, and that's not how it always works. So you need to start owning your career progression. Here's what I suggest you do. Start by writing down where you'd like to see yourself in 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. Then work with your manager and your mentor to formulate a roadmap on how you will try to meet those goals. What milestones you'll need to hit, what support you'll need from others, what are the types of projects and challenges you'll need exposure on, or what technical and soft skills you'll need to improve upon. Once that plan is formed, do a quarterly check-in with your manager to see if you're on the right track, and if not, figure out why and make the necessary adjustments. And every time you do make a career jump, like get a promotion, adjust that roadmap to adapt to the newer set of expectations. Think of it this way. Your manager, mentor, and peers are there to help you navigate your career smoothly, but ultimately you own your career, and thus the responsibility of making sure you continue to grow is ultimately yours. I hope this was useful, and thank you, Steve, for inviting me to be part of this video. Cheers.
Hi, I'm Jason Goodison. I've got a YouTube channel with my name. I'm also previous YC founder, and I'm working on a new company that's venture-backed right now. So the best advice that most software engineers don't take is you can just do things. So when I was at my first internship, it wasn't even a coding position, but I noticed that there was a lot of manual processes that the team did. So one day I just built a Python script. I didn't even know Python at the time, but I read a book and I tried to hack it together. And I built a program that we could use to automate a bunch of the tasks that we did. Instead of coming to them and saying, hey, can I build this or should this be built? I just built it. And then I came to them and said, it's already built. And at that point, there was no one that's going to stand in my way. It's already there, and they would be stupid not to use it. So they ended up giving me the highest rating of any previous intern over like a decade. Like nobody else had ever come close to the rating they gave me. When I'm a founder now, I look for people that take initiative, because the people that take initiative, they're the ones that find problems or find optimizations in everything, because they're constantly looking for improvements, and they don't need to be coddled. They just do things. After you finish this video, just do something. Whatever it is, you want to make a new product that you want to try to sell to people, don't ask your parents if it's a good idea. Don't ask your business friend if it's a good idea. He's not going to know. Just do it and see. So just do things.
Hello everyone, my name is Raj. I'm a Principal Solutions Architect at AWS and the creator of the YouTube channel Cloud with Raj, where I teach cloud technology, guide people on cracking cloud interviews, and help them transition into cloud careers. My top advice for switching to cloud? Leverage your existing knowledge and experience rather than diving into something completely new right off the bat. For example, if you are a developer, focus on AWS compute options to run your code. How to execute your code on them. Understand the pros and cons of those options, master testing, deploying, monitoring, and tracing your applications on the cloud. Showcasing this through proof of concepts in your resume and interviews makes your experience more relatable and helps you tackle follow-up questions with confidence. Similarly, if your background is in backend databases, learn the database and storage options on AWS. Explore topics like migrating data from on-premises to the cloud, SQL versus NoSQL options, optimizing database cost, performance, etc. Highlight these related skills to recruiters and interviewers. They directly build on what you already know. By bridging your current skills with cloud solutions, you create a smoother and easier transition. Hope you found this helpful. Wishing all of you happy holidays and a fantastic new year. Keep learning and keep rocking.
Hey everyone, my name is Rahul. I have a YouTube channel under my name, Rahul Pandey, where I share career advice for software engineers from my time in Silicon Valley at a startup, at Pinterest, and at Meta. My advice for all of you is to focus on storytelling. Storytelling is about explaining your project, your job, your career, and why you did the things you did. And what you may not realize is that we are telling stories all the time. If I ask you about a project update, if I ask you why you're interviewing at this company, if I ask you about what your career goals are, I am asking you for a story. The difference is that most engineers are passive participants in their own story. They'll say things like, I got laid off, or I got assigned a bad project, or I got stuck with an incompetent manager. It makes it sound like you're the victim in your own life. Instead, you should own your story and be an active participant. The people with the best careers are the ones who tell themselves a powerful story, and then they share it with others. For example, you could talk about how you identified a problem with, let's say, activation rates for a certain demographic of users at your company, and what you did across a 3 or 4 month effort to solve that problem. The impact of sharing a compelling story is that people will remember you for future opportunities. As humans, we're hardwired to remember stories. And so you go from being a forgettable person to a person who did something about something. And that is so much more attractive. One of the realizations I had is that you can't change what actually happened, but you can assign meaning to it. And that means you're empowered to update your story, even if it didn't go exactly how you planned. So instead of saying, I got laid off and that company is very evil, you could say, hey, I transitioned out of that company and I really wanted to try out building something from 0 to 1 at a smaller environment, a smaller company, and I'm really glad I was able to make that happen. As a tech worker in the modern day, you're gonna have a lot of projects, a lot of different jobs throughout your career. So what I want you to do right now, today, is think about what kind of story will you be able to tell based off the work that you're doing, the people who you're working with, and then use that as a really powerful input to figure out if you should be making a change or what you should do with your career. Thank you, Steve, for including me in this video. I have a huge amount of respect for what you do. I hope you and everyone watching has a restful and enjoyable holiday season.
Hey everyone, my name is Kevin and I'm currently working as a software engineer at Google. If I had to give you one piece of advice that you could start doing today, but most people probably ignore, that is to start diving into the details of all the different things that you learn about and are responsible for at work. Something like this might sound really obvious, but I definitely found, especially early in my career, this was something that I kind of avoided relentlessly. I tried to constantly just learn enough to get the task done at hand, whatever that might have been. Maybe that was learning 20% of a topic or less, and just do what I needed to do to get that thing done. And I realized two things throughout doing this constantly. The first thing was that it didn't actually always work or pan out the way I wanted it to. So what I mean by that is I would go and do the thing, or what I thought was doing the thing or accomplishing the task, and then I would quickly learn that I did it incorrectly or inefficiently, and I would have to go back and do it again. So because of that, I learned that ironically, oftentimes when you ignore the details or don't learn the underlying concepts and topics or what's happening under the hood of something that you're tasked with doing, you might actually ironically spend more time on that task because you'll do it incorrectly first, and then have to go back and learn the details anyways. So spare yourself the headache and the frustration and just learn the details at the beginning and up front the first time. The second thing that this will teach you and will do for you is it'll actually pay dividends throughout your career. If you learn something really well and really intricately down to its core, that is really valuable learning that other people might not have, and you'll be able to carry that with you forward throughout your career. So that's my tip for you today. Definitely make sure to start doing that now. Don't ignore the details, dive into them head first and learn them really well. Thanks so much, Steve, for allowing me to be a part of this video, and I hope everyone has a great holiday season.
Hey Steve, this is Zach with Data with Zach. I make data engineering and software engineering content for software engineers who are trying to build data-focused careers. I worked at Facebook, Netflix, and Airbnb over a 7-year job-hopping career, and now I do this full-time as a full-time creator. Steve gave us a really wonderful prompt this time around. He says, what career advice that most people ignore that you could start implementing today? And my perspective on this is you really need to be having conversations with your manager to understand their perception of you and how much they trust you. Because your career can only grow as quickly as the trust between you and your manager. Because if your manager doesn't trust you very much, they're going to only put you on projects that you can 100% definitely deliver on. And if you're in that zone, you are not in the growth zone. That is not how you get the staff engineer. That's not how you get the principal engineer. You need to be on projects where you feel like there's like a 20 to 30% chance that you might mess up. And the only way that you're going to be able to get on these projects is if you have a manager that trusts that you will grow into that project and deliver it. And that is a big thing that you want to be testing. So some things to be thinking about are, ask your manager, what do you think I'm good at? Where do I need to grow in order for us to build trust so that we can grow our careers together and I can make you look good and you can help me get to senior, get to staff. So yeah, I would say that's going to be the underrated career advice that I got for you, Steve. But anyways, this is Data with Zach signing off.
Happy holidays, folks. My name's Matt Huang. I work in strategy and ops at Google, and I currently run a YouTube channel under my name where I talk about everything that I've learned working on the business side of tech and management consulting. Now, when I think about a piece of advice that most people ignore, but which can be really helpful, regardless of whether you're working on the business side or if you're in a more technical role like a software engineer or a data scientist, one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever heard is that you should always, always, always try to go to a meeting with not just problems, but also solutions. And I know this sounds really basic, but you'd be surprised how many people just go to meetings and present all sorts of problems to their manager, to their director, and don't end up actually proposing any kind of path forward. And so from the perspective of your manager, you're just the guy that comes with problems but never solutions. And that's not what you want to be known as. And so what I would recommend is that even if you're not able to get a solution, let's say you've tried 5, 10 times different things to try and get to some sort of answer, and you still can't figure it out, at least come with some sort of path forward that you can propose to your manager that'll help you get closer to an answer, even if you can't get to an answer today or a week from now. Because coming with only problems is honestly low effort. And if you can at least try to come to the meeting with some sort of path forward or a solution, this demonstrates that you're just that much more thoughtful than the average person who just comes with issues. But anyways, that's all I got for you folks, and I hope you're all having a great holiday season with friends, family, and loved one. Peace.
Hello, my name is Pooja Dutt. I'm a software engineer at Microsoft, and I also have a career tech advice channel called Pooja Dutt. The question is, what software engineering advice do most people ignore, but you could start doing it today? So for me, that's choosing to solve problems that no one else wants to solve. And I can kind of break this down into two different aspects. So when you're working on a software engineering team, sometimes it's really hard to take a bird's eye view of what's going on at the team level and also at the organization level and what creates the most impact at the company. A lot of times we get bogged down by, I want to work on something that's interesting and challenging, which is great. And I think, you always want to be stimulated by good problems. But at the same time, if you focus your efforts on solving problems that are really impactful for the company, but also problems that no one else really wants to touch, things that are a little bit more difficult to problem solve through, then you will be golden. I think those two things could really change your career. It gives you a lot of credibility with both your manager and your skip level manager. It also gives you credibility on the team as someone who's willing to kind of get down and dirty and do things that, others are just unwilling to do. And at the end of the day, you can also just coast and collect a paycheck and just do the work that you're given. But to progress in your career, a lot of times you have to have a more holistic view of what's going on around you and make those decisions yourself. Don't wait for someone to tell you what to do. Find problems and find solutions to those problems. Present your findings to your manager and then push forward to change things on your team. I think having that sort of influence, it comes over time, but it can be really helpful with your career.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Melky. I'm a machine learning software engineer at Twitch. I've been there for 3 years and I'm looking forward to giving you guys some career advice, some help, and wishing you all the best during the holiday break right now. So what is the piece of advice I would give to software engineers right now that most ignore but could apply today? And I think that would be to not get comfortable. I think it's super easy in tech, especially when there's these high paying salaries, when you get senior and used to your job, that you get very comfortable. And I truly think comfortability can potentially kill any further potential any individual can have. And that doesn't mean you have to go to a different company right away, but if you are comfortable in your role, ask for more responsibility, ask for things that you can do to make you a senior, or go to different teams. Put yourself in constant uncomfortable positions, because those will eventually force you to learn and keep developing your knowledge, as opposed to being someone who's been in the same team, same company for so many years. You know everything, people come to you, you have this tribal knowledge, but you yourself haven't fully grown in however long. So I truly think something that I think most software engineers get really used to is getting comfortable. So watch out for that. Don't let that happen to you, and apply right now. If you've been comfortable, if you're like, yeah, that's good. If you don't have the motivation to get out of bed, do something about it and change right this instant. Peace, guys. Hope you have a good one. This was Melky. Thank you guys so much. See you later.
It's really nice of Steve to invite me to be part of the video. My name is Alex Nguyen, and you can find me over at Alex Nguyen. So after working at a few big tech companies, my biggest software career advice that most people could start doing today is just solving problems that affect multiple people. So this includes a lot of people like your customers, your teammates, and your cross-functional partners. These are the problems you want to prioritize first. So if you're on call and you make the on-call process better, your teammates are going to love you for it. If you're working on a feature and you come up with a safer way to roll it out, your product manager wants to know about it. If you solve all these problems, you're going to get visibility really, really fast. Now, finding these problems is not always going to be easy or obvious. And the best way for you to do that is just listening to side conversations that your teammates are having. If they're all complaining about code deployments are really slow, odds are other people want that fixed too. And my favorite way of getting involved in a problem is by writing a document, talking about what the problem is, why it's worth solving, and outlining a solution. Put that all in a document, have a meeting with everyone else, and get alignment on the solution. If you follow through on it, you're going to get a lot of respect and credibility as someone who can get things done. Now, the funny thing is that if you work on a problem that other people are aware of or they're thinking about, odds are they might be thinking about a solution to it too. So to really own a problem, what you want to do is you want to write the first page. And that really just means just writing a one-page document on what the problem is and why it's worth solving. Share that with everyone and they'll all trust you that you are working on it and that you're going to figure it out. If you keep working on problems that affect more and more people, I can promise you that you're going to skyrocket your career. I hope this helps, and happy holidays.
Okay, so my name is Peter and I'm a product lead at Roblox. I also write a newsletter for 100,000 readers at creatoreconomy.so. So Steve asked me to share my best career advice for 2025 that you can start doing right now. So here it is. Stop asking for permission to do your best work. Stop asking to have a call, to pick someone's brain, and to grab coffee. Stop chasing the same jobs that everyone else is chasing, and stop being defined by your company or job title on your LinkedIn. Instead, what you do is you should start chasing your curiosity online and have the career opportunities come to you. Here are a few tactical ideas. Do a deep dive on your dream company. Log all the points of friction that customers experience using the product, and write it up and send it to the product leader at the company on LinkedIn. Start building relationships by actually adding value. Number 2, use AI or another tool to ship a website or an app. Solve a specific problem that your target customer is willing to pay for. That's more impressive to me than any paper credential. And finally, just start sharing your ideas and thoughts online. Start replying to people you respect on X and LinkedIn with your thinking and your perspectives. It's not about chasing followers or going viral. It's about being defined by your authentic self instead of by your company or job title. Do this consistently, and I promise you that the career opportunities will come to you in 2025. You won't just be another resume in the pile or another random person that wants to pick someone's brain. You'll be someone that people actually want to talk to and someone that people want to give you opportunities for. Thank you so much and have a great 2025.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Peterman and I create content to help software engineers grow their careers. I speak mostly from experience growing from junior to staff at Meta in 3 years. And I'm starting to produce more content on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, you can take a look. I'm just producing content under my name Ryan Peterman. So the question is, what's your best software engineering career advice that most people ignore, but you could start doing today? There's one advice that I think is probably one of the easiest things to do. It's one of the highest leverage things to do. And it's something that very few engineers naturally do. And that advice is to write down the plan. And there's 3 reasons why you should. The first reason is that it clarifies your thinking. As you're writing down the plan, you actually get clarity on what the plan is, why you're doing it. Maybe some of the edge cases will come up too as you're writing. This helped me a lot when I was writing design docs and for larger initiatives where there's a lot of different moving parts and pieces for me to get clarity on. So even if I just wrote the plan for myself, I would have gotten a lot of value out of it. But the value doesn't stop there, because the second reason why you should write down the plan is because you create these shareable artifacts. These artifacts are useful to look back on during execution or when you're trying to evaluate the success of your plan, but also it is a very scalable way of sharing your plan with others. And so this is useful when you're just trying to get alignment or explain to others what the plan is. You can just share them, your writing. But also it's useful too when you're looking back for performance reviews. Your manager at some point will need to share your work with others. And if it's already detailed in clear writing, it's much easier for a manager to get you a good performance review that you deserve. And the last reason that you should write down the plan is because it enables more opportunities. Sharing all that writing around with your name on it increases your visibility. It builds your internal brand, and this increases your luck surface area. A lot of growth to the staff level and higher depends on luck and opportunity. And so writing down the plan will just increase your luck. And so that's why, those are 3 reasons why you should write down the plan.
The irony of career advice videos is that watching them feels like progress, but it's not. Looking at these creators' journeys, there is one clear pattern. They're all action takers, but they don't take random action. They gather insights, choose carefully, and then move decisively. So here's my challenge to you. Pick your favorite piece of advice from what you just heard and commit to implementing it. Don't just let this be another video you watch and forget. Take what resonates and put it into practice. In 2025, be the person who does things, not just the person who knows things. There's a stark difference between the two. I want to thank all of the creators who contributed to this video. They took time out of their busy schedules to share their hard-won insights with you. You'll find links to their channels in the description. They're each worth following for more in-depth perspectives on tech careers. I've also created a Discord community of over 8,000 tech professionals who are focused on implementation, not just consumption. Join us there to share your progress, get feedback, and connect with others who are putting these ideas into practice. Let's make 2025 a year of action. I can't wait to see what you accomplish this year. If you enjoyed this video, take a look at this video for more in-depth career advice.